Growth is life. Where there is no growth, there is stagnation. And stagnation is constant death. That is why you should always try to grow, because growth is life. Which company says this? Reliance Industries says this. That is the punchline of Reliance Industries. Growth is life. Growth is life. And that is why during the lockdown also Mukesh Ambani created growth. Mukesh Ambani became rich even during lockdown also. Facebook and Google had invested in Geo platforms during the lockdown. Okay. Now, so we have looked at the comfort zone yesterday and we have realized that comfort zone is not very comfortable. We have also seen what kind of chemicals are produced in the brain and why all the smileys will have the yellow background. Why? Because of dopamine, that is yellow in color. When is dopamine released? When we feel happy. When is endorphin released? When the pain, the physical pain, gets some kind of a breathing space. Like when you are driving a car, put your leg on the acceleration, it will go fast. But slowly release it and once again you push it, then it will go much faster. If you continuously put pressure on the accelerator, it will not go fast. Slowly you release it and once again you put it, then endorphin is like that. When the body is going through pain, endorphin when it is released, it will give you some kind of a relief. That is also one sign of that. What does serotonin does? When somebody prays the sun, automatically you will feel good about it. That is another time. What does oxytocin does? When we have people, when we watch a movie, we are not getting happy. But when we are going with our friends, we are getting happy. When people known to us are with us, we automatically get that oxytocin. So, that is the science behind happiness. Anything else that we discussed yesterday that we can recall very quickly? Focus. We should have focus or we should not have focus? Focus will channelize all our energies in the right direction and then we are most likely to become successful. So let's look at today's even yesterday's also. Let's look at yesterday's. Okay, let's look at today's report.
There water bottle all.
Full screen. What is this all about? How many people are seated on this? 2 or 3? 3. Some people are saying 3. Some people said 1. Some people said 3. fourth person. Fourth person is Prakash Ruia. He is the owner of Ruia Group, SR. You have seen SR petrol stations? SR. ESSAR. SR, he is the Shashi Ruia. The two brothers, Shashi Ruia and Ravi Ruia, S and R. So what do they write it as? ESSAR. When it is ESSAR, it is pronounced as SR. Shashi Ruia, Ravi Ruia. This is Shashi Ruia. These are all BNNs. These are all BNNs. What are they doing? Standing in a queue. But generally, how many people stand in a queue and take some? We get very frustrated if the queue is not moving. We try to move. We try to take a shortcut and all that. So even that they are the most wealthiest people in India, but still they stand in a queue and they are taking some price, whatever is given to them. There is something which we have to learn from such an image. Okay. Okay, we'll just find this. We just put H. Control H, control H. So we will try to continue with this discussion. Generally, we are under the impression that stress is not good for the body. Is it good or bad? Stress up to a certain level is good. Beyond a threshold limit is bad. So we should be able to recognize that. Rice also will not get cooked unless it is stressed. The pressure cooker and not a pressure cooker putting stress on rice. So we will try to understand when stress is not actually good. But generally stress is good. What is stress? You feel pressurized. Either you don't have adequate resources, you are not given time, you are not given adequate help. When you are expected to perform, when you have responsibility from the authority, what are the Fairness 14 principles? Scalar chain. I heard scalar chain. Division of what? Unity of command, unity of direction. So when you have responsibility without authority, you feel face much bigger issues in life. Especially when a player comes at a time when the match is under extremely tough conditions, you feel more pressurized. But there are some people who will perform very well under such conditions. Did you ever see Dhoni jumping? That means it's a calm mind which enables. But subsequently when he is given responsibility as a captain, he has mellowed down. Yes, somebody is already discussing happiness. So, basically the intent is, with a calm mind you can be able to deal with any kind of pressure. But if we are feeling more traumatic from within, if we are creating that kind of a mental pressure on ourselves, then we will not be able to do something. When we are worried about, what are we worried about? Past or the future? Past you are worried. Past is already over. You cannot change it. You are worried always about the future. So don't think about the future. Automatically you will be able to calm your mind. When you think about the past or whatever has happened, you will regret why it has happened. When you are anxious about what is likely to happen in future, you are putting your mind under a lot of pressure. So the pressure is not from external force, the pressure is from within also. So at least we should try. How does a tablet work? Suppose you are feeling like vomiting. How does the tablet work? Actually, your body is shaking from from within. That is why you feel like that. But what is the tablet doing? Tablet is working against you. That is why you will not feel it. Painkiller. When you take a painkiller, suppose let's say for example your arm is paining. You take a painkiller. Who is telling you that your arm is paining? Which organ of your body is telling you that your arm is paining? The brain. How is the brain getting to know that your arm is paining? There is a signal which is being sent from that infected part to the brain. How is the tablet functioning? Tablet is not enabling the signal to be received by the brain. Pain will be there, but the brain will not get to know. When the brain doesn't get to know about it, you will not feel it. So pain is known, pain is there, but pain is known to the brain only when the brain gets to that input from that organ which is infected. But when the brain doesn't know, then it will know. Suppose some bad news has happened, but you are not aware of it. You won't feel the pain. You will feel the pain only after you know about it. So painkillers also work like that. So whenever we take painkiller, we think that it is giving lot of relief. Actually, every pill has got a key. If any tablet can solve your problem, it actually creates more problem. That is why you should not take a tablet unless it is really. For everything, if you start taking tablets or tonics or injectables, it will ruin your body. Because the body is not supposed to take all this. So what we do to our body will enable us to strengthen our mental capabilities. Don't have too much control over the outcome of the situation. When you don't have too much control over the outcome of the situation, we should try to change from it. We should not try to control. We should know what is possible, what can be controlled, what cannot be controlled. If something you can control and if you can change, only talk about it. If you cannot change it, don't even talk about it. But what our mind is doing, keeping on thinking about things which are not within our control. That is how we try to add a lot of mental stress. Have responsibilities that you find overwhelming. Your capacity is only this much. You can work only certain things in a day. But if you have been told to do too many things, you will not be able to do that. That is what also causes stress. When you don't have enough work, also there is stress. We used to hire people from IIMs and all that in my company. Good people used to join and immediately they used to leave. Why they are leaving? They say your company can only give us salary. Your company cannot give us intelligent work. When we don't have intelligent work, why should we be associated? So they leave. So even not having enough work is also a causal factor of stress. Experience discrimination, hate or abuse. Actually, every citizen is a first class citizen of their own country. When you go to another country, you will earn more, but you will never be respected. I have been in Europe, I have been in US. They don't care for it. They simply think because they throw money, these people come. Maybe some other Indian only will respect, but they have always this perception that these people come to our country because they are from poor countries. Just think about it. To go to US, we require visa. But suppose if you are a European, you don't require visa to go to US. If you are from UK, you don't need visa to go to US. If you are a US citizen, you don't require a visa to go to UK. Amongst all the rich countries, they are all same. But when they look at poor countries like India or some most of the Asian countries, they think that these people will come to our country and settle down. That is, they say, without visa, don't come to our country. But rich countries are not saying that. UK citizen, if you are a UK citizen, you can simply go to from London to New York, you can go. By just like going from Nehru to Hyderabad, you can go. By just buying a ticket, you can go from London to New York. Because UK is a rich country, this is also a rich country. So they feel that a rich country citizen can come, they can even go also. They will go also. But a poor country, if somebody is coming to a poor country, they will not go back. They will come and settle down. That is why they say you require visa to come. So this is what is discrimination. VUCA world, VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We are living in a VUCA world now. That is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Because of this, the future is not a replay of the past. Earlier, what used to happen when my parents were working in a government organization, they joined the organization and after 35 years they used to retire. Today, retirement also became 58 years, 56 years, 58 years, 60 years, 62 years also. Just even the government job also is uncertain. People who are working in government organizations, they are getting emails at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the night. That tomorrow you have to do this. Earlier government organizations were not like this. This is what is called as VUCA world. A more uncertain world. There are 4 types of stress. So whenever they are stressful, you should not think that because of this stress I am not working. There are 4 types of stress. One such stress is a positive stress. Positive stress is something which is a reaction felt by people when they are excited but nervous. You look at situations where people have to deal with tough situations. You feel excited about it, but at the same time you are nervous. That's a positive stress. Let's say, for example, you got a 7.3 CGPA for the first 3 semesters. Now your objective is to get at least 7.5 CGPA with the end of the 4th semester. Probably you need to get almost 8.4 SGPA for the 4th semester to make it 7.5. So you will feel that I should do something, I should try something different. Because in this semester, if I really get 8.5 SGPA, overall I made 7.5. You feel excited that you are now going to face some kind of a challenging time. But same time you feel nervous that you are not making good. So not thinking about the negative part of it, but still positive. You see people using 2 sets in a tennis match. Still they will be very cool, very normal. And then in the 3rd, 4th and 5th set. That's how is a mental strength building. That's a positive stress. Acute stress is when one-time trigger, one major event, my knee stays in Ottawa. When I was looking at news yesterday, 2 people killed 10 people on the road yesterday. Just stabbed. Whosoever has come, they stabbed. 10 people died in Ottawa yesterday. 15 people are seriously injured. So when I read that news item, I was really worried and I immediately called up my niece. And she said, nothing to worry, because we are in this place, I am working from home. The point that I am trying to say is when something negative happens, that's a trigger point. It's an acute stress at a trigger point. So you do feel these things not continuously, but at one point of time. Because when you first hear something which is very negative, because 2 men with sharp knives just killed whoever they have seen yesterday in Canada. So many innocent people have died just because of 2 people who are mentally ill. That can happen to anyone. But since somebody known to me, very close to me is there, I was really worried and immediately called. That is a one-time stress. But chronic stress is different. Chronic stress is reaction to an ongoing trigger. Something has happened and it is continuously happening. All the people in Ukraine are going through this chronic stress. Because they don't know when it will end, when they can come back to normalcy. They are just thinking about a normal life. That's a chronic stress. There are so many mothers who have got a special child. They always go through this chronic stress. They will feel, a normal mother will feel, a mother of a normal child will feel, my child should be very good in education, my child should become very wealthy, these things. But you ask a mother who is having a child who is a special child, physically challenged, the thing, if my child is independent, that is enough. I don't want anything. I don't want my child to be dependent on anything. That itself is a major, achievement for me. Because they are both chronic stress. Generally, work-related stress, academic stress is a chronic stress. And episodic stress is a reaction felt by people that feel intense stress due to stimuli. Somebody will trigger it, stimuli. Like say for example, when you go to some kind of a medical examination. One of my uncle is a cancer patient. Every month he goes through that treatment of radiotherapy. He has to go inside one particular, box. He stays there for 45 minutes and comes back. He feels, when I am going inside the box, I will not come back once again. Every time he goes there, he feels that that's how it is. Because all rats are put in his body. It's an episodic factor. A lot of people who watch very serious. When the heroine is crying, they will also start crying. That is episodic stress. But if they don't watch that, they don't feel good about it. They have to watch that. That is episodic stress. You see a lot of people who are, while watching the movie, they will cry when the hero or heroine is crying. They will laugh when the heroine or heroine is laughing. So that is totally involved in this. That is episodic. That's not continuous. Stress can lead to depression. That is why at an early stage we have to identify that. How many of you have felt depressed at some point of time? One, two. Let us just try to figure out why did you feel that depressed mind at a particular point of time? And how did you come out? You want to give it a
depression on 2 occasions in my life. At the end of my intermediate, because of some factors, I went to work as a medical representative. I feel stressed how to deal with that. But somehow I managed to do that. But I don't even know I could complete my intermediate and then I would make it.
You were depressed or you were stressed?
At that point of time I am stressed. Can I come out of this? Or a particular time when my intermediate second intermediate becomes clear. At that time I am totally confused and depressed that I am not even, if I failed my examination, I am here. I am right here, feel it. If I pass, what is the value of that? At that.
So you were in a confused state during your intermediate days or after intermediate. Probably you thought that you will not pass, or if you A, you may not pass. If you pass, what is there for you to do? So in the process you took up some kind of a job and that has kept you engaged forever. You don't want to share, okay? Anybody would like to share? Now, I'm not asking you why you are depressed. Good that you are smiling now. How did you overcome? I don't want you to share anything personal. Because for many other people, that is why it says, when you are unhappy, you should not tell anybody else. Because when you are unhappy and if you tell, there are some people who will feel happy about that. When you share your unhappiness, some people will be very happy about that. So you should not share it.
The main point that they got is my friend somehow got told me that you are finished. Finished or you are finished. That's the
See, anybody can feel that we are finished. But we are not finished unless we think that we are finished. Anybody else who would like to share?
At my education, I have faced a lot of things. Even the basic problem is some class of right finished and పక్కనోళ్ళకి పక్కనోళ్ళకి డిపెండ్ అవ్వడం అలా జరుగుతూ ఉండేసరికి తర్వాత అసలు ఏమో చెప్పి నేను రాకుండా అంటే మా జూనియర్స్ వాళ్ళంతా హ్యాండిల్ చేశాను అనమాట. అలా కొన్ని రోజులు అయిన తర్వాత నేను సబ్జెక్ట్ నేర్చుకొని మాస్ కొట్టాను.
Anybody else? Nobody likes to say. Good. Then you know now nobody is depressed. They are all very happy. In my earlier part of my professional life, when I was doing a presentation one day, I was doing a session almost some 25 years back. Much before I started my presentation, somebody introduced me to Professor Hogan. And Professor Hogan said, I'm from Harvard University. I'm an English professor. It was 25 years back. Somewhere around 96, 97. So when I went to the podium, I was just worried what this person will think. Maybe he will start identifying the mistakes in me. I was a bit stressed, definitely. I don't feel ashamed to say that. I was a bit stressed. Because somebody who is a Harvard professor and up in English is one of the participants who seated. He is not a participant, but he was invited as a special invitee. He was also a speaker like me, and he was supposed to speak after 1 hour, but he came early. Because he came early, he sat in my session. I felt a bit stressed. I didn't feel depressed. I felt stressed. So I just appreciated that he has attended or he is part of this, program as a participant. I said, I feel good that I can see Professor Hogan on the other side of the table. And I started. I forgot that he was Professor Hogan. But for a few seconds, for a few minutes, I was also stressed. Then later on when he said, you did a great job, I felt good about it. Which chemical might have released? Serotonin. So that's why you should not really think so much about it. But it's a fact that we all feel stressful. In fact, sir was also a witness to it. I was part of an online program which started at 9:30 today. That's how we had to delay this particular event. From 9:30 to 10:30 we were part of an online program, and where there are other big shots from California University who were also on the call. But today we don't feel it that way. There's no depression, there's no any kind of stress, because we have gone through multiple times. This is what is called in management as the learning curve effect. The more you do something, the more easier it becomes for you to do that. So nobody wants to say whether they were ever depressed. No. You did. Good.
So I was really depressed in two occasions. The one was when I was in my 7th standard. I went to my auntie house in Hyderabad for holidays.
This will be attentive because this is not for my sake. It is for the benefit of everybody. Everybody goes through these kind of stages in life. It's just that until we are sensitive to such events which happen in other people's life, we will not be able to benefit from it. Please, sir.
So it's kind of sensitive for me to share. But, when I was in 7th standard, I went to my aunt's house. So there was another relative of my aunt, a boy who came same for to spend in my aunt's house. So I was in 7th standard. I didn't have that much of maturity to understand what has been going to be. So I got molested by him. He is not in there, but I didn't recognize that it's a kind of thing he's doing to me. But somehow later on, when I grew up, I did understand what has happened to me. So it created such a boundary in my mind that I should stay with such kind of things, and I health issues. He was seriously ill. As was the only breadwinner in the house, so we were financially so weak. But later on, my brother took the responsibilities and he stabilized our country. So that was the two main status where I felt it.
A lot of child abuse happens, and it's something which we should all be sensitive about, because in fact in the Western world, even if you touch somebody on their cheeks also, that is a cause of child abuse. The child can file a case against you. Even if you just touch somebody on their head like this also, that can cause child abuse. That is, the Western world is very strict about certain things. And it can happen to anybody. It can happen to maybe our siblings, our brothers, our sisters also. So, these are things which people don't generally speak about, but I think we should really appreciate that somebody can really understand and how, and these are the people who will be more stronger at a later date emotionally because of their condition. We should always give space to people for choosing their life, and we should not impose our ideas on them. Yeah. But a child abuse is quite different, because not every child can tell their mother or father also. And there is also a lot of pain, and that is something which is to be avoided at all costs. Are you aware of some people who eat more because of stress? The people who become obese because of stress. This is called binge eating. Binge eating means they simply keep on. Why are they eating? Because they are feeling stress. It is very easy to smile. I know it is very easy to smile on everything that we hear. Because when you are smiling here, you are not actually smiling from the bottom of your heart. You are not understanding and smiling. You feel okay, somebody has gone through pain, good that they have gone through. I think that is the way you are looking at it. That's not the way you should be looking at it. We should try to be more human. We should try to be more empathetic towards such situations. There are a lot of my friends who keep on eating more often, not because they are hungry. It's because they go through a lot of stress. It's called binge eating. So next time when you are eating, you ask yourself, are you really hungry? Or is it that you are going through some kind of stress? Also, we don't consume water as much as we should consume. We consume less water. And whenever the body is actually trying to tell you that, you feel that you are feeling hungry. Actually, it is not hunger. It is thirsty, which is misinterpreted as hunger. When you consume a lot of water, how much water do you consume every day? So, you are consuming every day. We should consume at least 4 liters. How much water do you think a normal human being is consuming? No, somebody is consuming. How much water should be consumed? Do you think they are consuming? I don't know whether they are really consuming 2 liters or not. But we should be consuming more water. Actually, when we don't consume water, the body keeps on asking for it, and we misinterpret it as hunger, and we keep on eating. That also causes a depression state. Is there any difference between stress and depression? Lot of stress leads to depression. Lot of stress. Lot of which kind of stress leads to depression? Chronic stress, positive stress, chronic stress leads to depression. So, we should always be able to read these signals faster so that you work toward them. How many of you exercise every day? I can see some 2, 3 hands here. 1. When we don't exercise, at least stretch exercises, walking. How many of you go for walking? Very few hands. The human body is not actually trained for sitting. We just see once again, how many of you are sitting Nobody will be living. So sooner or later, we will all be contributing to back pain, spondylitis, all these things happen because we are not having a proper sitting posture. When you don't sit properly, you will not be able to be attentive. Because the mind is function of the body. Body is a slave of the mind. Stress is caused because of physical illness. Physical illness can also cause stress. Anxiety. Anxiety is always about the future. Will I get a good job? Will I pass in this examination? Will I get more marks? Will I get promoted? Always the mind is thinking about the future. Is anybody anxious about something? Something which I have not mentioned? Campus selection. But will I get a good job means campus selection? Is it? No. You want campus selection or you want a good job? What is the point in having a campus selection wherein you get a less salary? You are not interested. You are looking for what is good job? Let me try to understand. What is good job?
Particularly for me, a good job is where I can grow myself. Also, which provides me more opportunities.
What is growth for?
Growth for me, whereas if I want to establish my very own business, the work I am doing in the job role, particularly it should help me in establishing that business as well, and also should give me a visualization of future.
But why will your employer be interested in a particular role which will contribute to your own business in future? That is not business now, is it?
Nowadays, most of startup founders also used to work in an organization. They got an idea out of that job only, whereas they have seen so many opportunities in working some companies, and also some of them are established. They didn't establish the company, but they acquired the company because they had that vision that they can provide these opportunities in already invented product, but the company failed to see that future, whereas some of them already, and they choose to acquire it, and later they were able to prevail that product into a very big company in India.
It's a good thing.
Oh, Chairman. We give a big value, Chairman, because he is partly right. I agree with him. Most of what he said is right. But one area I may not agree with him. He may be right, but I would agree with him. Yes. People who join a company and subsequently start their own enterprise, they have a different mindset on it. That means, as a student itself, they make a decision that one day I should have my own company. That is the first thing. When they take up a job, they take up a job to earn some kind of a work experience, which will enable them to conduct their business effectively. That is the second point. The third point is, they would also like to earn some amount, build some kind of a network, so that they get to understand the entire ecosystem of business. Very few instances what he said is correct, where somebody who is working in an organization where the company is not able to capitalize on some opportunity, they step out and they start a company to benefit from that opportunity. But this is very rare. But people who start their own business have a different mindset, because mindset is the only asset of human beings. Mindset is the only asset of human beings. So, a person who has made up his mind that he wants to be in business will take up a job to understand what he should understand. Employer is not providing that opportunity. you to start your own company. No. But you should be able to, extract whatever is relevant for you. I also teach at Narsingh Monji Institute of Medical Sciences or Narsingh Monji Institute of Management Sciences also. And it's in Hyderabad, Chennai, it's in Bangalore, it's in Mumbai also. What they do, as a private university, equal university, when they give syllabus in every unit, they say this is the syllabus. And at the end of each unit, they will say, if you attend these classes, if you participate in these classroom sessions, if you do these assignments, this will be useful for you to take up this job. That means every unit in the syllabus is mapped to some role, managerial role that you will do. That is what makes the students come to the classes regularly, participate, because they visualize themselves to be in that line of business or playing that particular role. That is what energizes them and that is what gives them the best to the subject. So, good. Anxiety is one thing which will impact stress and stress also impacts anxiety. Similarly, sleep disturbance. How many of you have 7 hours of night sleep every day? 7 hours of night. Very few people. Most of you, they are yawning now. I too can't sleep even for 7 hours. I also struggle. But 5 hours I can sleep properly. But it is not that I stay awake because I want to chat or I want to call somebody. I will not do that. But something will keep me busy or something or the other. So I will do it. But it is not a good sign. You should have proper sleep. When the sleep cycle, we are not talking about anything related to your sleep cycle. So once the sleep cycle gets disturbed, it leads to stress. Similarly, impaired immunity. What is immunity? Resistance. The body has got its own resistance. Even during COVID, many people died not because they were badly impacted because of the disease, COVID disease or viral infection, because they thought they are not strong enough. It is all in the mind first. It's a mind game. If you think that mentally you are not strong enough, you will not be able to deal with any kind of problem. So COVID had badly impacted people because their immunity was low. Their immunity was low because their confidence was low. Basically the confidence. Physically, some people are physically ill all the time because of their own. Have you heard about Guntur to Google? Did anybody come to know about this case called Guntur to Google? Okay. Fine. Let us not browse now. I will tell you what is happening. There was a very poor family in Guntur. Mother is a laborer in the agricultural fields. Father is a truck driver. During this holidays, summer holidays, the son went along with his father in the truck. And on a highway, he moved towards the door, opened the door on the highway, and he was seated towards the exit with legs outside. The vehicle has hit them from the wrong side. Both his legs are chopped off from him. He was studying 4th class. Both legs are cut. So what has happened? He didn't even know, because that is the power of the human mind, brain. When you are impacted so badly, the brain doesn't get the signal also. That means you won't feel the pain also. For some time you won't feel the pain. Later on they have cut the other portion of the body also. He was studying fourth class. I don't know what is it that makes you smile. We are not talking some joke here. Should be at least human. Before we try to become happy, we should be human being first. We cannot behave like an animal. This is not some joke that I am cracking. A person has lost, a fourth class student has lost both his legs. The sister was studying 6th class. What the parents have done, made the daughter study 4th class. So that she can carry her brother to the classroom, she can carry her brother to the washroom whenever it is required. That boy, with this kind of a background, works for Google today. Just see the mental strength of someone. And he is not from a very educated background. He studied engineering in that condition. Whereas we keep on complaining, I don't have this, I don't have fan, I don't have AC. The person who is physically disabled, not by birth. Look at the parents, they are also not very educated people. Sister has sacrificed her education because of him. And he became so successful that he works for Google today. Anybody who has got some time, you can read through this case study. How a person who has been deprived of so many resources and opportunities could still have that kind of mental strength to bounce back. That is what is resilience. Even worked in Singapore, so office of Google for some. Then you will find it there. You just simply punch it Google, Guntur to Google, you will find. So, basically, it's all about how much you can absorb that stress. One day I was traveling and I met one couple who are doctors. So I told them that, I have never been to hospital, I have never been hospitalized at all. Because I was trying to tell them that I am very healthy, I don't have any health issues, I was never hospitalized. Then that lady told me, you are lucky that you have never been hospitalized. But that is not a sign of good health. What is a sign of good health? You should fall sick and you should quickly recover. Falling sick and recovering quickly is actual immunity. Not having any problem is you are lucky that you are not having pain. But you see some people who are injured. But in 1-2 days that injury will be healed. That is a sign of good health. Some people, for small injuries also, it takes weeks. It will not recover. That is a sign of bad. So, sign of good health means you should be injured. You should go through sickness, but should recover fast. That's a sign. So, people who are actually more composed, people who are mentally strong, they will be able to come out of this much faster. So, they will not let stress become depression. So, anxiety leads to stress and stress leads to depression. So, we should try to identify it at an early stage so that we will work towards it. More often than not, Martin Seligman is a person who had actually changed psychology. In such time, psychology was all about dealing with mental illness, people who are having some kind of psychiatric problems, mental disorders. But Martin Seligman had changed the entire definition of psychology. So he has created a new branch called positive psychology. And positive psychology looks at the strengths of a human being, how you can leverage those strengths so that you can become much more stronger person. So, more often than not, depression occurs when people believe that failures are due to uncontrollable events. So, we should figure out first of all what is controllable and what is uncontrollable. More often than not, what you think is controllable is actually uncontrollable. More often than not, what you think is uncontrollable is very much controlled. Failure will continue as long as events are beyond their control. So we need to figure out how to deal with the situation. When you are very objective in your assessment, you will be able to figure out what is controllable and what is uncontrollable. So only when you feel that you are in a helpless position, you feel depressed. Especially people who are having some kind of a depression or mental disorder. They are the ones who think that this is the end of the world. Which Telugu actor committed suicide? Only one person. Who is that elderly person who has committed suicide? In Telugu film industry. I don't think Sushant has worked in Telugu industry. Recently, not 1 year back, 2 years back. In fact, he has written a book on why we should not commit suicide. And he has committed suicide. I heard of somebody called Ranjana. How old was he? He was around 65 years. Can somebody of that age group commit suicide? Why should they commit suicide? They might have seen a lot of challenges in their life. They might have gone through so much of pain in their life. At that age, he said, I am committing suicide because I am feeling very lonely. It's all because of learned helplessness. Learned helplessness. We'll do one thing, we'll go back to yesterday's Have you heard about something called counseling? What is counseling? Actually, a lot of personal counseling happens when somebody is very stressful or depressed. They try to understand the causal factors, they try to understand the triggers for that. Only in personal counseling people open up, people speak out what are their constraints all about. And that is how personal counseling helps people to come out of stressful situations. Even in all software companies also there is somebody called as employee relationship manager. Employee relationship manager works very closely with all people. They try to understand the unique conditions which have made some people more depressed. The same conditions will not make other people depressed. Only some people will get depressed because of their own mental makeup. So they try to understand and they try to help them come out. In fact, in the process, they do save so many lives. They make so many people deal with that kind of a difficult situations effectively. This is called personal counseling, which is done for all such people. Like, have you heard about addiction counseling? There are a lot of drug addicts are there. Rehabilitation. In rehabilitation also somebody who is a drug addict, somebody who you have to tell a joke now because you have been laughing. Continuously you are laughing, you have to tell it.
calling.
We don't need to give sorry. When one broken glass, why can't the whole glass laugh? Then what is that why and this why I am saying you both, you can say about both boys. Really, why is that you can make everybody laugh? Everybody wants to laugh. Even active smoking, passive smoking is also learned helplessness. The nicotine goes into the body and it starts asking for more. That is how people get addicted to all kinds of things. Even passive smokers also get addicted. That is why two brothers were interviewed once. One of them is an alcoholic. The other person doesn't touch alcohol. So the reporter asked one brother, why are you consuming so much of alcohol? He says, my father is an alcoholic. The second person the reporter asked, why are you not consuming alcohol? The second person will say, my father is an alcoholic. Father is an alcoholic, one son is an alcoholic, the other son does not consume alcohol. So why is he consuming alcohol, one person? Because his father is an alcoholic. Why is the second person not consuming alcohol? Because his father is an alcoholic. This is what is a positive mindset. The one with a negative mindset wanted some excuse to consume alcohol. The one with a positive mindset says, my father is an alcoholic. I saw how my mother has suffered because of him. That is why I don't touch alcohol. That is a positive mindset. A negative mindset is simply looking for some kind of an excuse so that they are justifying their actions. That's a much more serious issue to be dealt with. So, how do we deal with such learned helplessness? When we try to believe that it is very much within our control. Only then we will be able to overcome that situation. From learned helplessness to learned hopefulness. Decisions that limit hope and decisions that are high hope decisions. Seeing things as fixed and unchangeable. People who are depressed, they start thinking like this. We cannot change the situation. This is a given situation. Let's say for example, how many days of maternity leave is given in India? 6 months. 6 months is given? Do you know how many months or do you know how much time maternity leave is given to the Western world? 15 days. I know one lady in Kamineni Hospitals, Hyderabad, a surgeon. Her delivery happened in the morning. She delivered a baby, her own baby, in the morning. Afternoon, she has performed the surgery to somebody else. So there was a lot of debate as to how this lady who delivered a baby in the morning can perform surgery in the afternoon. She told about this Western concept. The Western world looks at pregnancy as a condition, as a medical condition. The Indian philosophy looks at pregnancy as a disease. When you look at it as a disease, you try to protect it. They don't try to protect. They consider that as a very natural process. That is why most of the deliveries are natural. Here most of them are cesarean because they treat it as a disease. It is not a disease, it's a condition. It's a medical condition, it is not a disease. A medical condition is something which will last for a certain length of time because of what your body is going through. So once you understand that, you will not feel the pain. You will not try to overprotect. In fact, the more you try to overprotect yourself, the more complicated the delivery. The more complicated. So they will try to be very normal, they will do their work, they will come to workplace, and in the process, they make their body ready to deliver easily. That is why 15 days is sufficient because of the kind of mental conditioning that has happened. But when you treat it as a disease and try to take a lot of medicines, you are actually ruining your body. Doctors, because they pay huge donations and pass that MBBS, they find a reason to extract that money because we are not from that medical science background, we get fooled by whatever they say, and that is all. It is a treated as a disease rather than a condition. It's all changing the mindset. Otherwise, how is it that in Western world people are also able to go through the same process and then feel very comfortable coming back to workplace and be equally energetic? It's all about how we look at it. Perception can be much stronger than reality. How we perceive can impact our perception. So seeing things as fixed and unchangeable, whereas seeing possibilities. So when you are trying to look at the possibilities, automatically you will explore other options. Focusing on the negative, always on the negative. People who are depressed, learned helplessness means always, okay, this may go wrong, that may go wrong. They will never look at something which is on the brighter side. Whereas on the contrary, noticing beauty, benefits and blessings. How many of us consider ourselves as blessed every day? We take it for granted. Most of the times, we take it for granted. We expect the breakfast to be ready. We expect coffee or tea to be ready. The moment we complete or we brush and come to the kitchen, we expect somebody to serve coffee or tea. It's an expectation. We have been, put through this kind of a pampering by our parents, because of which we expect everything. We think we take it for granted. But when you start being on your own, when you have to cook on your own, when you have to make it on your own, then you will realize how much people who cared for us have done to us. That is when we start blessing ourselves for what we are missed out. Or probably that is the time when we start complaining about what we do not have. So we should always try, when we are passing through that road, my cousin who has gone from Nellore to Hyderabad, I told him, even on a car, even to different places he has come back. I told him, what is the fun in going in a car? When you are going by train or when you are going by bus, you can see here and there. When you are driving, what do you see? Except the traffic. What is so great about it? In US also, big buses with one side full glass, it will be there. When you are seated, you can see the entire countryside. It's so beautiful. You should try to see the brighter side of it. There are so many plants, there are so many flowers, there are so many, birds which you don't get to see everywhere. When you start listening, when you start enjoying nature, you are being truthful to yourself. Otherwise, you pass through the same road hundreds of times, but you don't see what is around. So people who are actually more tuned to positivity, they can see the brighter side of it. The moment they see a plant, they say, okay, what is its botanical name? What are the benefits? This is a herbal plant. This particular color combination I have not seen anywhere. Or what kind of soil creates this kind of a plant? Then start thinking like that. But on the contrary, we simply take it for granted. This is what is called as atomic habits. So many things that we do in our daily life, we do it mechanically. When we do it mechanically, we are not living, we are existing. Just exist. We should try to, because we are doing 3-4 things simultaneously. We are probably pressing clothes and having coffee. or we are watching TV and having food. So you are not able to taste the food also. You are not able to enjoy that also. So that means our mind is not involved. When the mind is not involved, we are simply operating like a machine. That is, learned hopefulness is all about noticing that beauty, benefits and blessings. Whereas on the contrary, you are not looking at anything that is brighter side. Settling on habits of negativity. There are many people who know that whatever they are doing is not correct, but they continue because they have that inertia that they cannot come out of. That's what I am saying. Whatever you tell the person who is sitting beside you, you can tell everybody. If you have something sensible to share, you can share it with everybody. Unless and until you are feeling guilty that this is not sensible thing, you will share it only with people who are around you. That's a fundamental thing. Concentrating on constraints or weaknesses. They'll keep on reminding themselves, I've studied Telugu medium, Hindi medium, I will not be able to speak Hindi or I will not be able to speak English properly. I know very good orators who are from Telugu medium, Hindi medium, Urdu medium and all. But they have trained their mind, they have told themselves that I am going to be in public speaking, I am going to be in a leadership role, I cannot behave like this. So having realized that that is their constraint, they have worked on it and that is what they have improved. Because this is not an art, this is science also. Anybody can learn anybody. Have you seen one particular video clipping where in one school everybody writes with both hands? Nobody has seen? In one school, everybody writes with both hands. And that too simultaneous. I mean, it is trainable. It is not that writing with both hands is a great skill. They have simplified the process. They trained all their students to write it with both hands. That means it is possible. It is not impossible. So because they have started focusing on the strengths rather than focusing on the weaknesses. Remaining unengaged and unchallenged. Actually, whenever we are trying to engage somebody, engagement requires connect. Engagement requires challenging. Why do you think people like to watch ABC? They try to answer. Are they tough questions or are they simple questions? Not very tough. Not very tough. Any question that is being asked to the audience or any question that is being asked for people to answer so that they can come to that hot seat, that is not very tough. It is known to everybody. Maybe they cannot tell immediately, but they know. That is what will challenge you. So, that is one level of engagement where you try to challenge people. That means if you don't like to be challenged or if you are not challenged, you don't feel good about life. You need to be challenged for whatever you are. When you stretch, when you do more than what is required, only then you will feel good about it. That is why creating challenging goals is something which is required. So that you are high in terms of hope. Lacking a sense of meaning and a sense of mattering in life. When you don't know what you are doing, when you don't know why you are doing, there is no meaning in your life. When you know why you are doing, automatically you will do it much better because you know why you are doing. Why is more important than how? Why is more important than what? If somebody asks you one basic question, why are you doing this MBA program? What would be your response? Why? To create your own career. Why if you take sciences you can't create your own career?
Because we are interested in that.
But you are interested in management. Why are you interested in management? Why are you interested in management?
We are today we learn accounts. We are coming from commerce background and we are in.
Why did you come from is waiting for somebody to prompt him. Anybody else here? Why did you choose management?
Because I want to get some business related knowledge.
Okay. Why do you want to get business related knowledge?
Because I can't inherit my father's business.
You will follow. You cannot inherit your father's business.
So I will start my own business. That is what I will.
Okay, you want to start your own business. But why do you want to start your own business? Because you cannot inherit your father. But why do you want to even inherit your father's business? What made you think that you should inherit?
Mostly sons, they inherit father's business.
Okay, let me ask one question here. Which state in India transfers property to daughters and not sons? Kerala also does it? Kerala also may be doing it. Meghalaya does it. Meghalaya does it. The Property Transfer of Property Act is a central act, but there is a mirror law in every state. In Meghalaya state, the property goes to the daughters, not to the sons. So you have to move to Meghalaya. Not only you should move, your parents also should move to Meghalaya. Okay. But why do you want to do this?
So that I can get a good standard of living. I don't have to depend on anyone.
But even if when you are taking a job also, you don't need to depend on anyone.
Sense of independence, sir, that I can, my capability.
Okay, you feel that you are independent enough to handle your own business.
Also, I want to make a difference in the society.
But you will fall. Be careful, you will fall. So you want to make a difference in the society and you think that in your individual capacity you can handle a business of your own. If you are well equipped with this knowledge.
Initially, I will start individually. Then I am planning to create a team and then that is all.
Okay, to start with, you want to be independent, you want to be self-employed. Later on, you want to start your own business so that you can hire people and as a team, you would like to make an impact on the society which is much more long-lasting than if you were to be an employee. Is my understanding correct? Anybody else? And without repeating whatever was already told. Anybody else?
సార్
Yeah.
యాక్చువల్గా నేను ఇంటర్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఇంజనీరింగ్ తీసుకొని బయట ఐఐటీలో చదవాలనుకున్నాను. బట్ కానీ ఏంటంటే ఇంట్లో ఫైనాన్షియల్ సిచ్యువేషన్ వల్ల నేను చదవలేదు. సరే అని చెప్పేసి ఇంకా డిగ్రీ తీసుకున్నాను. అలానే పార్ట్ టైమ్గా వర్క్ చేసుకుంటూ ఉన్నాను. అయితే అప్పుడు నాకేమంటే ఇంట్లో సంపాదిస్తున్నాను. బట్ అయినా కానీ ఏదో తీసుకున్నాం, నాకు డబ్బులు సంపాదించే దాంట్లోనే దానికి రిలేటెడ్ ఏదో తీసుకున్నాం. అంటే అమ్మ ఒక మాట చెప్తారు, అంటే మనం ఎప్పుడైనా సరే ఇచ్చే దాంట్లోనే ఉండాలి కానీ చేయి చాచుకుంటుందని ఒక మాట చెప్తారు. ఇప్పుడు అందుకని చెప్పి ఏంటంటే ఇండిపెండెంట్గా చేయడం మొదలుపెట్టాను, ఎన్నికలు మొదలుపెట్టాను. అలానే దాంతో పాటుగా స్టడీస్ చదువుకుంటూ ఉన్నాను. అలానే ఇంకా ఇంజనీరింగ్ కూడా చదువుకుంటా డిగ్రీ చేసుకుంటూ దాంట్లో కూడా ఏంటంటే ఎంతగా బేసిక్ స్టాట్ అందరూ తీసుకుంటారు. కానీ ఏంటంటే అకౌంట్స్ అనేది కొంచెం మనకి ఈ ఫైనాన్స్తో రిలేటెడ్గా ఉంటుంది అని చెప్పి ఆ ఫైనాన్స్ బేస్ అకౌంట్స్ తీసుకున్నాను. కొంచెం స్పెషల్గా సెట్ అయిన తర్వాత ఇంకా చూసుకుంటే నాకు ఇంకా అనిపిస్తుంది ఏంటంటే ఫైనాన్షియల్ అడ్వైజర్గా వెళ్దాము. అంటే ఫైనాన్స్ గురించే ఎక్కువ తెలుసుకుంటూ ఉన్నాను. మనీ ఎర్న్ చేయడం అది కోసం దానికి రిలేటెడ్గా ఉంటుందని చెప్పి అనుకుంటున్నాను. అందుకే ఎంబీఏ ఫైనాన్స్ చేస్తే మనకి దానికి రిలేటెడ్గా ఉంటుంది. కొన్ని చేయడం తర్వాత కొన్ని కూడా సర్టిఫైడ్ ఫైనాన్స్ చేసుకుని ఫైనాన్షియల్ అడ్వైజర్గా ఉన్నామని చెప్పి ఆలోచన దీనికి కొంచెం నాలెడ్జ్ గెయిన్ చేసుకుంటూ
chance. Some of us are here by force. Those who will excel in the long run, the one who will be successful in the long run, will be the one who have chosen to enroll into this MBA program. When you are here only by choice or when you are here by force, you will be half-hearted in learning. Your learning attitude will not be positive. But when you choose to be into business of your own, when you choose to be self-employed, then you will not get distracted. You will try to pick up whatever business insight that you can gain, so that your long-term plan is to have your own business. You have a long-term plan to be self-employed. So your thought process will be aligned to the inputs, whatever is being given to you. But if you are here only by chance, you will only be thinking how to complete these 4 semesters, how to attend interviews, how to get a good job. Getting a good job is not a big deal. Retaining the job is more difficult. You may be surprised to know many people who got well placed, they lose their job. They are thrown out of their job because they don't have the right attitude, they don't have the right kind of work ethics. So getting placed is not a big deal. Anybody can give you a job. But can you retain that job? It requires a positive mindset. And right from the beginning, when you enroll into the program, if you know why you have chosen this course, your mind will be open for such ideas. Otherwise, it will not be open. So, choice, chance, or force. What is it that is making you enroll into the program? This we should ask ourselves at any given point in time. Anybody else would like to share? Excellent. Because you want MBA certificate, you are enrolling. I am reminded of one joke. So please bear with me. One day, in Hyderabad, there is a very popular place called Tank Pond, near the Buddha statue. So one day somebody was walking on the tank pond, and on the pavement somebody was selling on the pavement. So he goes there and says, "What are you selling?" And these are MBA certificates of Usmania University. Then he says, "Okay, how much does it cost? 10,000 rupees." He says, "Okay, take 10,000 rupees, give me one certificate." So they'll give one certificate. Then he says, "Take another 10,000, give me one more certificate." He says, "For whom this certificate is required?" "This is for my horse. I want one certificate for my horse." Then the vendor will say, the street vendor will say, "ये सिर्फ गधों के लिए, घोड़ों के लिए नहीं." This MBA certificate ये सिर्फ गधों के लिए है, घोड़ों के लिए नहीं. I just took this opportunity to tell you. So to this rich man, the vendor will say, because you are not because you did not know that you are a donkey, I am giving you, but for horses this is not given. I was telling this in a lighter way. You want one piece of paper, called MBA. No. You want knowledge of MBA. No. I think you want original. That is also original. That is also original. That is also original. When you are looking for an MBA certificate, there is no value addition. Value you will add. Piece of paper everybody will get. Education is not piece of paper. Behavior is everything. Your behavior will tell you whether you are educated or not. Your certificate will only tell you that you are qualified. That is the difference between qualification and education. When you say I want a piece of paper, authentic paper, it is still qualification, it is not education. Education is what you add to qualification. Then only it becomes enriched. How do we make our life worthy? Discover the purpose and direction of your life. We will, all of us, we are born as dependents. We will become independent. We will become interdependent. And once again we will become dependent. This is a simple cycle of cradle to grave. Everybody goes through. Now we feel very much empowered because at your age and stage of life, you are going to the independent phase. Everybody feels, it's like, in a product life cycle, you are in the growth stage. That's why you feel you are seeing so much of prosperity. That is why you feel that you are having so much of power in my hand. Once you reach interdependency, then dependency, then you know how powerless we are. That is too late for anybody to change for better. That is why once you are sensitive to this, you will be able to figure out what is the purpose of my life. What will you do when you get one piece of paper called MBA? I'll ask everybody, don't worry, I'm not just asking. I'll ask everybody who is looking. I'm pretty sure whatever she said is not her opinion. She has represented collectively many people. We should give her a big hand because she has told. She has represented everybody. She has not told her opinion. Why do I think people are looking for a piece of paper? What MBA? Okay. I'll tell you a real life situation. I was teaching in Tirupati College, a college called Siddhartha. I generally used to stay in the guest house only whenever I go from Hyderabad. But once, because there was a lot of guests in our university, college, it's an affiliated college of SV University. They are also affiliated to JNU Anantapur also. So our management has put me in Chanakya Hotel. So I was in the Chanakya Hotel. Morning I had breakfast and I was waiting in the lobby for the agent to pick me up. I was sitting in the lobby, I had one textbook with me. Security analysis portfolio management book was there with me. Somebody was cleaning the, not floor, the table and all. My book was there. And in the meantime the car has come, I stepped out. Somebody came to me and said, he gave me this book, he said, sir, you have forgotten it there. He didn't say you forgotten your book. He said, sir, your Jordan and Fisher book is there here. I was shocked. Why is he saying Jordan and Fisher? Then when I looked at him, his face was very familiar. He said, sir, I am your student. He was cleaning that room, cleaning that lobby. He said, government has paid the fee. And I thought, since government is paying, it's a free seat that I am getting. I thought I can do MBA. I did MBA, I got good marks. I am not able to pass a single interview because I am not able to express it. I learned, I got one piece of paper. I am working in this Chanakya Hotel for the last 2 years. I often see in Hyderabad airport also, one person by name Narsima pushing the car. He was also a student in the same college. It is not piece of paper which it pains to look at such people because Because government was paying the fee, we just did it. We didn't even know that MBA means much more higher responsibility. MBA means we have to continuously learn every day. Because in business, there is no syllabus. First thing we should remember. In business, there is no syllabus. You have to learn all the time. And where you are not engaged in a continuous learning process, today's knowledge becomes tomorrow's common sense. So there is nothing new that you know which other people do not know. That is how a piece of paper will not help you. It is only qualification. I want you to understand the difference between qualification and education. Qualification is a piece of paper, like a driving license. It's a piece of paper. There are many people who don't have driving license, but they drive very well. There are people who don't know how to drive, but they have a driving license. Which one is better? Having driving license without driving skills, or having driving skills without driving license? If both of them you have, that is fine, that is best. But given a choice between these two, I would rather have driving skills rather than having driving license. At the most, what will happen? Traffic police will stop my vehicle, seize my vehicle, I'm fine, I'm still alive. If I don't have driving skills, not only my life is put to risk, all the people who are going on the road also, their lives are also put to risk. Isn't it? Essentially, we have to make our life worthy, and for that we require, so we should never say, I want a piece of paper. Again, I repeat, it is not one girl who said this, and she expressed the collective opinion of everybody, most of you. At least I am telling you 90% of you. She is a leader for 90% of this group who is sitting here. No. Anybody is also looking for a piece of paper? No. So not 90%. Understand who you are and why you are here. If you think that I am just somebody pursuing this course means you will not be able to get energized and give your best. You should feel the opportunity cost. What is that opportunity cost of sitting here? You could have taken up a job, you could have earned some income, you could have grown in that job, but you gave up all that and you are doing a full-time course. So whatever is the cost of MBA means you should not say how much fee you have paid. Your cost of MBA is what you have sacrificed. Opportunity cost. The cost of next best alternative. That is your actual cost. Know and pursue what really matters. What is actually relevant is knowledge. How many of you read business news? How many of you watch business news? One person watches business news. If you don't read business news, if you don't watch business news, how can you be successful in the world of business? How can your learning be relevant? For staying current, relevant, meaningful and purposeful, you have to know what is happening in the world of business. You should connect that developments in the world of business to your curriculum, and that is the only way you are able to understand business as it is. If you are completely disconnected, how can your intelligence be useful to the corporate world? So make it a point to read business news, at least some 3-4 headlines every day. Watch business news for 10-15 minutes every day. So that you will be able to see how a particular business news connects to one of your subjects. Maybe more than one subject also. That is how you will be able to gain some deeper business insight so that your decision making process will become more refined. Why are managers paid more?
and decision making capability. How can we improvise upon the decision making capability? First you should understand situation. Then you should figure out what are the options. Choose the best option and implement it. But when you don't understand the context, how can you come up with alternatives? That is why you have to connect with the world of business every day. Have a sense of freedom and responsibility to do what is right. Many of us do things because we are trying to impress upon others. Impression is not what is required. Expression is required. If you are doing something, you should know why you are doing. Then you won't feel stressful. You should be very clear what you want in life. One of my students comes from a very rich family. His parents came to me one day and they said, even if my son is going to run a pawn shop also, it's okay. But we want this pawn shop to be known everywhere. Have you seen one of the pawn wallahs who will put pawn in your mouth, they will put fire also? That means even when they are doing such a simple act also, it can be made more wonderful, it can be made more exciting, and people are willing to pay for it. In Bangalore, there is one particular place where they sell ice cream with mirchi bhaji. Outside it is ice cream, inside it is mirchi bhaji. Outside it is cool. Once ice cream is over, mirchi bhaji will be very hot. In Mumbai, there is one hotel called -16 degrees. Everything in that hotel is made of ice only. To sit on a chair, it is made of ice. The coffee which they serve, the coffee glass is made of ice. If suddenly power is cut off, the entire hotel will become water. The table is ice. The chairs are ice. You have to wear one raincoat and go inside. But they charge a heavy price for it. But there is something unique, USP, unique selling proposition. How people are making themselves different. Otherwise, why will anybody use it? So whatever you do, there is a possibility that you can do it much better, differently, creatively. That is why WHO says 4 things are required. For people to be successful in current generation, 4 things are required. Communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. 4 C's. Communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Our friends will be praising us even when they make a mistake. If you apply critical thinking, you will know that you are at fault. So even if 1,000 people are praising you, you will not feel good about it because you know that you are at fault. That is creativity and critical thinking. All of them are required. These 4 things will make all the difference. Becoming authentic and kind in relating to others. Whenever you do the random act of kindness. Last month I did one program online, 20 days. I called it Finance T20. 20 days, 20 topics on finance I have done. I didn't charge 1 rupee. But almost 100 students have joined. I said you simply donate 500 rupees anywhere. You donate 500 rupees, show me the receipt and attend my class. 100 people have paid 500 rupees to somebody. Maybe within their wheelchair only, no problem. But they donated 500 rupees. And they attended my session for 20 days. Finance T20, every day different topic I spoke. I felt good because 100 into 50, 100 into 500, 50,000 rupees somebody got because of the sessions that I have done. I don't know who they are. They don't know me. This is a random act of kindness. When you help people without knowing them, that is what is required, and that is what makes you feel good. If I have earned 50,000, suppose if I have told somebody, I am doing a finance T20, pay 500 rupees and join my program, give me 500 rupees, people will think, why should he pay 500, what is he going to talk, what is it really worth 500 rupees or not? But when I said, you donate 500 rupees to anybody, any orphanage I said, so people donated to orphanage, any orphanage. And they gave me, they have sent me my WhatsApp that receipt. And I said, okay, now you can attend my program. I shared the link every day. The link was shared. Based upon who was donating the 500 rupees for the whole month. I felt good. And this is what is called as random act of kindness. Develop the resilience to survive anything life throws at you. Whatever it may be, you should be mentally strong to fight back. Actually, I have got a video to show, but I am not able to put it here. All of you are in one WhatsApp group. Shall I share it with one person so that you can share it with everybody? It's just a 3-minute speech of Amitabh Bachchan. I'll share it with one of you. Shall I share it with Avinash? Avinash is there? Okay, I'll share it with him. Can we put it here? Shall I share it with you? You can put it here. Or you can share it in the group also. Just a 3-minute speech. Okay, this we can see for the time being. This is a different one, but let me see this one. Transition. Two short videos as an just play that.
can be seen